Greetings, brave adventurers! My name is FoxyBard, and welcome to a collection of horror stories. Today I have found for you all 3 varied horror stories ranging from the mundane to the, oh dear, please call the police. Oh, okay, nothing quite that bad, but there is some fun to be had. So, without further ado, grab yourself a seat around the fire as we dig into these tales of role-playing. Our first story comes to us from the user Pango Pongo, try saying that 10 times fast, and it's entitled, Why Are Adventurers Always Gay? Hey, not all adventurers are gay, just the gay ones. Which is all of them. Oh, I see what it's getting at now. But jokes aside, this is mostly about a misunderstanding and a one-off joke that I think got taken the wrong way. Miscommunication is a common theme in stories like this. Here we go. Tale start. Our party had finally made it into town after an arduous 5-day trip on the road. While the party was buying swords and stuff, my monk popped into the tavern to buy rooms for everyone. He was a big foodie, so he ordered a few specialty dishes and tipped like 10 gold. The tavern owner thanked him and said they'd said something special up to his room. In and out of character, I thought it'd be a few more plates of their gourmet food. When he got to his room, though, he found an unarmored lady on the bed. I was kind of uncomfortable out of character for reasons, and in character, well, my dude's a monk. He just asked her to leave so he could meditate. Mediate? That says mediate. I think it meant meditate. The whole companion thing was a little weird, but I could have shaken that off when she stormed out and yelled, why are adventurers always gay? I was not vibing with that, my guy. I think that's what the kids say nowadays. Close enough. I was still figuring things out at the time, and that kind of reminded me of the home of phobia, I see what you did there, that kept me from talking to anyone in my bygone years of youth. I played for a little bit after that, but I was pretty quiet for the rest of that session. See, that's a funny joke. That's a funny moment. Come on.
Hey, Pongo, why didn't you tell the DM that it was weird?
I was already mentally on the way out before that happened. To be fair, I joined after Session 0, if there was one, and I could have told them what I was good with, but it was like my first solo queue game in 5e. Tale end. And yeah, that was definitely a case of just miscommunication. A newer player to the game wasn't quite sure what the overall vibe would be, and didn't ever really get to communicate what they were comfortable with, so yeah, it ended up with a situation where they were made uncomfortable. And the funny moment, what should have been a very funny moment, because that's a funny moment, it ended up being awkward because it reminded them of something in their past, and that's understandable. It's just a shame that the lack of communication caused the game to go sour for them. Oh well, let's move on to the next one. Our next story comes to us from the user NoCommon3883 and is entitled, The Game Where I Had to Ban 2 Male Players Because They Harassed a Female Player. And that pretty much sums it up. Luckily, nothing in the game got all that bad where someone was unsafe, but it was really uncomfortable. Anyway, tale start. I'm a huge fan of the Fate anime franchise. I even made an RPG system to narrate in the universe of the franchise, and I went looking for players to test my system. That day, I met and befriended 2 players, a girl I'll call Juliet here, and a man I'll call Lion. Lion and Juliet were close friends and were the people who first set out to play. I was originally going to narrate just for them, but Juliet and Lion said they wanted more players and they would look for me. So I accepted, and the game began. Initially, Juliet called the player I'll call here Dennis. I started to prepare the game and made the servants of each player, prepared the scenario, the antagonists, separated everything for everyone's BG, and the game was fun for 3 sections. Until one day, Juliet said that she had pain in her shoulders on the audio call before the game. Oh, brief primer for the Fate series for those who aren't familiar. It's about wizards who summon ancient historical figures to serve as their servants for a big tournament fight thing. Anime's okay, games are terrible. There you go. The conversation started normal. I asked what had happened to cause that pain, and also said that I had just completed a massage course, and that if I went in person, I could massage her shoulders if one day we played in person. She thanked me and then replied that this was because she had very large breasts, and that she sometimes had pain in her shoulders. After that, the table turned into hell on earth. Dennis began chasing Juliet the entire section. He literally started hitting on her character, started following her, started describing how he looked at her character. When I went to complain to him, I got the answer, "This is what my character would do." I was extremely annoyed that he was obviously making an excuse. His character had no interest in her character. He was a vampire who acted pragmatically and suddenly became romance-obsessed? That didn't make any sense. I get annoyed and decide to just ban this guy. Time passes, and to avoid having a small number of players, Lion and Juliet decide to call one more player. I change the entire plot to allow the entry of one more player. So, enter a player I'll call Mark. Oh, hi, Mark. Mark and Juliet had already had an affair in the past, and they ended it when Juliet found that she is a lesbian. My girl Juliet! Woo! They were friends, so I thought everything was fine and went back to narrating the game. We had some really fun sessions, but Mark hadn't handled their end well. He decided to press Juliet, and one day he paused the game to threaten to kill himself if Juliet didn't go back to dating him. Okay. That's a bit much. I banned him too, good, and don't accept new players. Not to say it was totally horrible, I mastered another table for Juliet and Lion, and it was one of my best experiences. TLDR. I lost all preparation for a game because I had to ban 2 players. The first for chasing a player as soon as he found out she had big breasts, and the second for trying to force the same player to date him by threatening her with suicide. Tail end. Now, what is there to really say about this one? Some men still just see women as objects for their own enjoyment, and the first guy kinda proved that by not showing any interest in Juliet whatsoever until he found out she had big breasts. And look, I like big boobs as much as the next lesbian, but women are a hell of a lot more than just our boobs. We're complete people with personalities and likes and dislikes and different sexualities, which brings us to the second guy. Okay. Right off the bat, threatening suicide to get someone to do what you want or stay with you or date you in general is yet another common abuser tactic. I hate how often these come up in these videos. But seriously, you know that she's a lesbian. That's why you broke up in the first place. That means she's not interested in men. That's what being a lesbian is. First player is gross creepy scum. Second player is scum of the earth scum. Boy bye. Moving on to the next one. Our last story today comes to us from the user Wonderful Promise 95 and is entitled My partner and I are playing in a game DM'd by our friend. The DM's wife is making everyone very uncomfortable. How to politely bring this up to the DM? Whew, long title, but it's very descriptive. Let's just get right into it. Tale, start. Sorry for the text wall. This just happened, so I mostly want to get it off my chest. Oh hey, Juliet in the last story might have... Never mind, nope, bad joke, we're moving on. For some context, this friend of ours works with my partner, so she sees him every day. The DM is fantastic and super nice. His wife is less so. She is playing a chaotic neutral rogue, take a drink, so naturally she basically just does whatever she feels like doing, which makes sense for her character. Take another drink. Actually, don't do a drinking game for this one, you will die. But she is rather new to D&D, so when she tries to do things and the DM brings up certain rules that would stop her from doing things, she gets very frustrated and snaps into arguments with the DM, and sometimes other players. I thought married people were supposed to like each other, what? She gets frustrated to the point of near tears when she doesn't get her way. For example, we had 2 prisoners that most of the party had planned to interrogate. She desperately wanted to just kill them so we could keep moving to the next objective. But the party wanted to get important information out of them before deciding what to do. And most of our party is either lawful good or chaotic good, so murdering prisoners wasn't necessarily the first thing they wanted to do. So when the party insisted we keep them alive instead of calmly explaining her position on the matter, she began yelling at the DM and getting frustrated at players for not letting her take her turn when it was her characters role-playing their alignment. This escalated to an hour of back and forth with everyone calmly explaining their points while she constantly interrupted and got increasingly louder to the point of almost crying. No one was being unreasonable whatsoever and were sincerely taking her views into account. Hey, hang on, what's that noise? Oh, that's the Karen alarm. I'll turn that off. Crap. Well, we're in for it. There, okay, alarm's off. What did I miss? Nothing? Awesome. This event, combined with how she acts normally in our sessions, has led my partner and I into really just not wanting to play with them anymore, even though we really enjoy the company of the DM and other players. But the issue is my partner works with the DM, and we do in fact want to play with him at a later time. What do? Tail end. I figured out why the Karen alarm went off. The legends were true. We don't stand a chance. It's the D&D Dire Karen. May Milani have mercy on our souls. Jokes aside, I don't understand how that marriage is still going if they seem to hate each other so much. You're supposed to like the people you get married to. What? Is that just a straight person thing? I don't understand it. As for what to do, there really is only one solution, and it's the same one it always is. Talk about it. You need to have a conversation with the DM and figure things out, because otherwise you're gonna be stuck with the Dire Karen forever. And nobody wants that. Well, okay, maybe the Karen wants that. But this really is the time to sit down and have a serious conversation with the DM. It's hard to do, I know, I've been there. And that is the last of the stories I have for you today. I hope you had fun with them, because I don't think the people playing the games did, so someone's gotta have fun with all this. Time to do YouTube stuff. As always, don't forget to like the video if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet done so, ring the bell notification icon if you would like to be notified every time I upload a new video, easiest way to catch new videos. And let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. You can also join the FoxyBard Discord server, the link to that is down in the description. You can follow me on Twitter at ThatFoxyBard, and of course it's time to thank my patrons over on patreon.com/FoxyBard. Critical Kunik, Amma Anthro, Phantom, Jowser, Fractal Dawn, Purple Star, Rikus, Stephen Reyes, Sylvia, Cintaria, Tegan Longtail, Thunder Leopard, Tiny Tiefling, Zero Fang 881, and Zorolo. Thank you all so much for your support. Wow, there's a lot of you now. I couldn't do any of this without you. If you would like to join that list, patrons get all my videos a day early, or sometimes more than a day early. Patrons get my videos when I finish making them. And you can head on over to patreon.com/FoxyBard to add your name to the list. Now, I've got to go finalize a build of a Slime Girl character for another upcoming video, so let's douse the fire and get back to our own adventures.